My name is Afam Okereke. I'm a film writer, producer, director. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a politician. I'm one person that joined the industry and I had grown from one stage to the other till I got to where I am today. Well, I would also love to be addressed as one of the pioneer founders of the industry because I joined the industry when we were beginning. Those times when we were there for the sake of passion, though the money was coming in between the time, but we were much concerned about making people happy, about designing a better stage where our craft can be sent as signal to the world that they may learn. And those were the days the movie stories of Nollywood was actually coming from the real source. I'll be glad to also tell you that the stage I was talking about was a time people who were in the industry traded with love and passion. We saw ourselves as brothers and sisters. The competition wasn't that so much. The competition we had then was a competition for a better craft, not competition for wizardry. My name is Afam Okereke, like I rightly said, and I'm ready to respond to any question you may wish to throw my way. Thank you.
Now, what inspired you to become a director in Nollywood, and how was the journey so far?
Well, I didn't just wake up and decided to be a director. Like I told you, I passed from one stage to the other. I came into the industry on the list platform, the one they call Waka Pass. Yes, I started as an extra in the movie industry. From being there as an extra, I started getting some speaking roles. From getting speaking roles, I developed interest on the crew side of in the industry. I worked as a production assistant. I worked as a production coordinator. I worked as a production manager. I started working writer. I was doing my stories, and the producers were picking from me to work. I had one of my major clients then, Sonny Collins, wanted to great movies industry. While working with great movies industry, a lot of my stories came up on his platform. At some point, when I felt that, yes, directors are doing very fine, but then as a writer, there are some of these things the writer will have in mind. And when you watch your movie eventually, and they're not coming out exactly the way you nurtured it, the way you conceived it. So from there, I started developing interest in directing. I said, if I'm able to get to the level of directing, I'll be able to interpret the story exactly the way it came to my mind. So I started as an apprenticeship in industry, as an apprentice in industry, working under some directors. And those, that was the period when, if you wish to direct, if you want to come into the industry as a guild, you must have passed through stages. There was this drilling. And before you join the guild, you must have passed all the drilling stages. Then go for the interview and assessment. If you are okay, then you will still be assigned to work under some certified directors who will help to nurture you. They will be the ones to confirm, yes, the tutorial we passed on this guy is okay, he's now qualified to direct. Then he cannot be certified as a filmmaker, as a director. But that is no more now. Anybody can wake up now to direct a movie. So that was what happened the period. Just like you asked me, what really motivated me to start directing my stories is to be able to bring out that idea, that initiative, the way I pictured it in my mind. I didn't just start directing. That was actually what made me to go to TV college just. I had to pass through TV college. I had to do some programs. I had to do some tutorials. By the time I was out, I could tell myself, yes, bro, you are well trained. Late Kenneth Ebuna was a mentor. Kenneth Ebuna nurtured me. He gave me the reason to move ahead. May God rest his soul. Kenneth Ebuna did so much for me, and he was proud of me till he died. That's one man I miss so much.
Who was Kenneth Ebuna?
Kenneth Ebuna was a writer and a director in the industry. If you Google Kenneth Ebuna, you may still see his image in the Google. We lost him sometime many years ago. So he was actually one of the people that really motivated me. He was one that told me, Alpha, you can do it. I've watched you on set. I've also listened you interpret stories. So you're not too far from making a good director. All you need to know is just the technicalities that I was applying, and then you're good to go. So when he said that to me, the interest started growing, and I was pushed. That was what really motivated me.
Can you share one of your memory moments, while directing in the industry with us?
Yeah, the memory I would always want to share was the memory I had during the movie Billionaires Club. Billionaires Club, I would say, was actually the movie that brought me to limelight. It wasn't my first movie, Before then, I had shot I shot Sister Mary. I had also shot Police Officer. I had also shot GSM Wahala. GSM Wahala was actually my first movie as a director. But then Nkemo was very busy on a different set. We couldn't finish up the set. We now started shooting a different movie altogether, Police Officer. But then my third movie was Sister Mary, the one I shot with Ogokoye and Co. By then, Great Movies was already building his trust in me. And he called me one day and told me, I've seen how far you're grooming your talent. You're not just only doing what you think you can do, you're also learning in the process, because the first project wasn't like the second one, and the third one, being Sister Mary, was a banger for him. He now said, I'm going to give you a baptism of fire. I said, okay, sir. He now brought a script titled Billionaires Club, written by Constance Daniel and the twin sisters. So I went through the story, and I was able to reform the script to his own surprise. When I was done touching the story, Sonny Collins was marveled. He said, I had wanted you to produce this movie, but I will now allow you to direct it. Can you handle this movie? I said, I can handle it. Meanwhile, this is the story so many other bigger directors had already called him on phone to discuss and pleaded for. Sonny Collins said he's going to risk the story with me. I didn't negotiate what I was going to be paid. I didn't discuss anything price. I was concerned about taking up the challenge and seeing what I can achieve out of it. God so willing, the story came out and it was a bang. During the production of this movie, meanwhile, this was a kind of a story for the very first time in my directing career, bringing up strong, talented movie actors, highly respected in the industry. Talking about Uncle Pete Edochie, talking about KOK, talking about Claire Mohameze, talking about Tuni Gomez, Patience Ozokwo, Shola Shobawal, mentioned them. A lot of people were in the story. And by the time we were shooting this movie, I would never forget. Somebody called me on phone and told me then there are some artists at McDavis we are discussing. They were like, why is Sonny Collins investing and putting his money where he's not going to get it back? They saw the convoy of the movie pass. And then they also calculated and knew how much we pay for the car props. They were like, why is this man wasting his money? By the time the movie came out, the person that made that comment, I don't wish to mention the name, is also a star, called me to say, Afam, congratulations. This was what I said when this movie was going on. On that set, I got the best cooperation ever needed.
Wow.
I worked with this artist. I had no challenge because I was open to learn, and they were willing to work with me. Uncle Pete, till tomorrow, is one person that will be so bold enough to say that Afam is one director that can correct my English language on set.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
A renowned broadcaster, but he gave me every support and assistance. Most times, after correcting the spoken English, I will also want to give the blocking. When I get Afam, is okay. Allow me to do my acting. Uncle Pete, anytime, any day, I respect him. Any day. A lot of people were like worried about me whether I was going to be able to work with this caliber of people and the rest of it. But then we were like friends and then brothers and then sisters until the job was done. They were happy seeing what I was able to bring up as a director. So they were also willing to support and assist me for us to get the best. It's a teamwork. Like I told you, I never negotiated for that project. We finished that movie, the movie moved to the market. It was a bang. First one, part 1, part 2. Sonny Collins eventually called for the part 3. And guess what? He also shocked me with the amount of money he paid me.
Whoa.
Yes. He shocked me. I never received that amount of money ever in the industry. He said, we're going to do the part 3 of this movie, and then we'll continue.
Mm.
And ever since then, I will tell you, within the period Sonny Collins was consistent with film production, if he had done 100 movies, I will tell you, I comfortably did 80 or 85 out of his movies. Until date, even yesterday, we still spoke. Till tomorrow, we are still best of friends.
That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Now, what quality do you look for when casting for a movie?
It depends on the kind of story you have. Whatever story you have determines the characters you're going to look out for. I'm one person that never compromise my artist. You could be my best friend, but that doesn't guarantee you being in my movie. If I don't have a space for you in that movie, I don't mind. I can sacrifice my money for you. But I desire to give the best of my movie. Most of the times, I do my project without even the executive producer being around. At a certain point, because Sonny himself is also a storyteller. Sonny Collins is a wonderful storyteller. Most times he tells his stories and he monitors you to see how the story is coming out. At a point, he built that confidence in me that, oh, I don't need to monitor this guy anymore because on many occasions, he brings in his own initiative and makes whatever I had in mind to come out so superb. He can travel abroad, leave money. If I have change or whatever, I'm one person that will render his account from beginning to the end and everything is okay. At some point, even I was directing, I could as well work as a producer, work as an accountant, work at everything. He is sure that whatever money he's dropping is safe. So I built that confidence and we had a good working relationship. So like you say, the cast depends on the kind of story you have. There's a kind of story you would want to produce and you end up dishing in wrong cast, you kill the story.
Now, how do you handle some actors and or actresses in the industry that feels they are above the bar? How do you handle them?
Yeah, most times it do happen in the industry. Like some of them, it depends on the kind of life most of them live. Like somebody who knows he or she is meant to be on set early in the morning and you're clubbing the previous night. You will not go to bed. You go to bed around 2, 3 a.m. And when the production manager is coming to wake you up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock to get ready, you will not respond. You know, most of the time, the artists try to do that, but discipline comes in. There was a time the guild was so strong. There was a time the guild, from different level to the other level, the actors guild, the directors guild, and the rest of them. When an artist may misbehave, and the director will call the producer or artist guild, and they will call the person to order. I don't know whether that still exists now, you know. And it got to a point when producers or marketers decided to issue and dish down suspension on those of the artists that give them trouble on set. But I believe some of these things most times depends on your relationship with whoever you're working with. If I know you as somebody who disturbs on my set or on someone else's set, I'm not going to engage you. And if I know that this is your attitude and your lifestyle, but I'm trying to engage you, I will make that agreement with you. Please, I wouldn't want to experience this on my set. Should I experience it on my set? Look at what happens. Many occasions, actors leave their set for another set without telling the producer. You see most of the time, like in Enugu and now in Asaba, you can see an artist juggling 2 different locations. The director or producer may not know that he or she is engaged for another project. The call time may be there, and then you discover that the person is on another set. So the idea of engaging yourself with 2 projects at the same time, I never liked it for once. I will always tell you, do you have another project at hand? If you're busy on another set, please let me know. And I will never engage you because I wouldn't want you to be a problem on that set. Because whatever movie you want to shoot, you have a budget. I may have a project and say, okay, this is going to take me like 5, 6, 7, 8 days or 1 week or 2 weeks. You not being around or present will definitely affect my shooting. Any moment you are not there, it affects my budget. So I wouldn't even want to give a room for that. Artists, most of them, they do that. I don't know how it is being managed now. But actually, that was actually the reason why most of them, back in the days, were suspended. The marketers, who were actually the main financiers of the industry then, actually had their own strong association. But at some point, I will also say that it started becoming as a witch hunting platform because when they don't like a particular artist, they can come together and suspend the artist. When an artist would demand a certain amount of money, I can request any amount of money from an artist for you. You cannot peg my artistry. You didn't train me in school. You never trained me in any skill. If you call me, Afam, I need you to do this project for me. I can tell you my money is 5 million. If you can't pay the 5 million, leave me, get someone else. You cannot tell me you must take 1 million. No, it's not happening. That was actually at some point, people like Genevieve, Ramsey, RMD, and so much of them were suspended because marketers felt, oh, you guys are beginning to prove out of reach. And that's what I'm saying now.
Yeah,
So, and I get this was actually part of things that motivated a lot of them to become independent producers, beginning to source for fun from outsiders to do their own project, which actually the marketers at some point started seeing as a threat. And that has given that diversity to the industry today. We were not meant to be at some point. This industry should have left where we are today, if not for greediness. Because those days, it was just only them in the market there that were funding that were entitled to anything. Because when you think you want to do your own movie, where are you going to bring it to? The same market, they'll frustrate you. So they own the market and they try to do whatever they wish to do with the market. Then you never had YouTube, you never had other platforms. There was no Netflix, there was no other options where you can sell your films. So everybody was actually 100% loyal to them. Okay. You understand? So within the period, some of those people that were not dancing to the tune or trying to, some of the purpose for suspension were actually okay. But at some point, it became a platform for witch hunting. Just like I said, when one has not agreed with you on a particular fee, you can sit down and we're like, oh, what is this guy beginning to feel like? I met this guy. Now he wouldn't want to work with me. Why must I have this kind of amount of money? The next thing, suspension. That was wrong.
And how do you spot potential in an actor who may not have much experience?
It takes a director during audition to discover talent. Many directors are not groomed for talent hunting. Many times, it's always better to give room for freshers because a fresher who comes in will still be scared, will still be seeking for opportunity to show what he or she can do. That strong-headedness will not come in. Humility will follow. So it pays you as a director to discover a talent. When you have audition, well-treated audition, you're looking for a particular cast. Many times, I host my audition on different venues, depending on the kind of story I want to do. And when you're done with your thorough drilling, you will be able to discover not just a perfect cast, but some people that have the potentials where you can at least get what you want. And with time, practice makes perfect.
How important is networking in Nollywood, and what platform or event should aspiring actors attend?
Well, when you talk about a program they should attend, most of the times when you are aware that a good movie is out and is turning up in cinema, is always a platform to see those actors one-on-one, have conversations with them, have interaction, go to workshops where industry, where filmmaking, where this particular craft is being discussed. So many people go to school to learn filmmaking. Some want to stay back at home to get it by the divine grace of God. So it depends on what you want. That determines how you can step up to achieve it. Networking is very, very necessary. Most times there are different groups where discussions are held about filmmaking, where interactions go on about how to make a good movie, how to be a good actor, qualities of films people should look out, and the things you can do that can help build you up as an intended actor or even already existing actor. So networking is always very good. You cannot you can never be an island and succeed in the industry. It takes a teamwork.
Is there any actor or actress in the Nollywood that you've nurtured from the basic that today he or she is one of the top A-list actor in Nigeria?
Well, I'll be proud to let you know that Chinedu Kedeze Ake remains my baby boy. I took him from the scratch. Until tomorrow, he hardly grants any interview without mentioning me. He's not the only person that passed through me. But I'm always proud to mention him because he's always proud to let people know that, yes, I was blessed through this guy. The rest are history. The Bible says that 10 people were healed. Only one came to say, thank you, God. Okay, so a lot passed through me. And when I look at them today doing so well, I'm always happy seeing them. I may be traveling, I may be on my way, I may travel, I may be at some spot. Somebody might exhibit a certain character which I felt can be useful to me. I approach people on many occasions. Many people I have worked with in the industry, but people I met on 1 or 2 different occasions. Hey, I love what you do. You know you can make a good actor. Well, like they will start laughing. From there, gradually, we'll just start talking. So you never knew those talents were there until I knock at that door and then bring the talents out. Are you getting me? So association, like I keep saying, when you feel you have interest and you want to join the industry, like those living in the Southeast, I advise them, if you can get to Enugu, even if it means relocating, okay, no problem. Visit, create friendship, and just go to those environments, look at people around there, see what is going on, interact with them, ask questions, and they know how you can get involved.
Which one will you advise actors or actresses to really pay more attention to? Fame, craft, or money?
All of them are very important because you can't do one without the other. But then, as someone in the, yes, definitely, you need money. You need the fame to move. You need the craft to sustain you. But first of all, the craft is more important. You must know the craft. Let me shock you. Many times you hear that people are not friendly in the industry. You hear that this person is quarreling with this person and the rest of them. I was one person at some point, I wanted to shoot a movie. And I was this particular artist, I don't want to mention name. We were never in good terms because of a particular character he exhibited on my set. I told myself I wasn't going to work with him again. But I picked up a script. I was reading through this script. It was the character I was seeing from beginning to end. Wow. Yes. I was reading the story. I tried to like change my concept, everything. After turning the story upside down, he was still the character I was seeing. I picked up my phone. I called him. I said, "Hey, guy, how are you?" He said, "Good." I said, "I have a story I want us to work on." He said, "Hi, you called me?" I said, "Yes." That doesn't mean you're my friend. I'm calling for business. Yes. I'm sending you a script. If you look at the script and you're interested, I'll pay you your money and then we'll agree. He said, "Okay, send it." I sent the story. He got the script. Immediately he got the story. The first thing he did was he called and started apologizing to me. Now, he never knew I would ever call him again to work with him. I said, "I'm not calling you because you're my friend. I'm calling you because of your skill, because of your craft, which I cannot take out from you." So, like your question you asked me now, the craft is very, very important. Because that craft is what is going to bring you and beef you up to that fame. And that fame will give you the cash. So that's why I say the 3 of them are very, very important. So someone will not tell you, this guy is not calling because we are not friends. No, Roy, not me. That we're not friends doesn't mean I'm not going to call you. I'll call you. And once you are done with that project, you go your way, I'll go my way. But the guy was touched. He never knew I was going to call him again. But he has what I needed.
And someone in Nollywood take Nollywood as a career. Say, the only thing I'm doing is just as an actor. I don't have any other side also.
100%. 100%. 100%. There are many actors in Nollywood today that has no other side job. Many, I don't want to mention names, but there are many of them that has no other side job but film making. You understand? But then you need to get to a certain level before you can peg yourself on that. Like I keep advising a lot of my friends, especially upcomers and then middle class actors, don't just leave yourself because most times you may not have projects coming constantly. For you to sustain yourself, invest in any other business or get yourself engaged in something else. And then whenever this one comes, just open the door. No, this is my first love, but then I should have other things that keep me going and the rest of them. Okay. But there are some actors who have attained the level that all they do presently now is all about industry and entertainment. If they're not shooting, they're going for one endorsement or the other. They're going for one function or the other. They're going for one brand program or the other. And the rest, they are busy engaging in one program or the other because they are already known face in the industry. And their face open way for them. Now, talking about qualities of movies that go to cinema and go to Netflix and then and whatever, it depends on the quality of project you have. Depends on the budget you have to do your project. Some may not have that so much money to shoot a movie that may go to the cinema, but they have the market for YouTube and they shoot the quality they have and they can upload in the YouTube. When you're going to cinema, obviously, you know you are out for a larger space. When you're going to Netflix, of course, you know that most of the movies that go to Netflix must have certain standards. starting from your story, the technicality, the actors who are involved. They must want to know a lot of the movie going to cinema. Most of these days, the cinema would want to partner with you as a filmmaker. If you're a known filmmaker and they have a project you want to go on with, I can go to a particular cinema and tell them, okay, this is my project. They will say, can we see your script? They will look at your script and go through the script. If the script is okay, they can say, fine. If it's not okay, they'll have to pass the script to their own team to pick all the tick and dots there. They will still call you. We have these areas we want you to go and highlight. Treat here, treat here, treat here. They may tell you that if you allow them, they can give the script to their own writer to still write and bring up the way they want it to come up. If you say yes and then both of you are in agreement, it's a teamwork. They finish. Sometimes some may ask you to pay for your story to be treated. That is, if you're going back to shoot your film and then you bring it to them to show. But if they're working with you, they can still take up that as their own contribution to get the story ready, especially if they are so interested in your story. Everything begins with the script. When the script is okay, on a round table, the cast will still be discussed. There are so many faces, there are some characters many cinemas feel are okay for their films. Some cinemas also help to project so many actors. You see, if a particular cinema is in love with you, they may tell me, Afam, for us to take this movie, I want Henry Black to be in this film. I will now begin to look at where I can continue. And many of them also recommend the actors based on the relationship they have with the actors. They may not be the best. I will still say that. A particular artist might be very close with the owner of this particular cinema and will be on their green list, so that whatever story that comes and they want to take up, they can recommend you to be part of that story. Some are doing that based on the fact that that actor is doing very well. So a lot of them have their reasons, but they will still give you conditions which must apply. That is done. We're looking at the equipment for shooting. What format are you shooting? What cameras are you using? When you're done with that, who do you intend to direct your film? They want a renowned person, somebody they feel they have seen his or her work, somebody who can handle the story very well. So the cinema will discuss with you all these details even before you move down to location. So as you're doing your work, you're already having in the mind that I'm doing this movie for this cinema. And when you miss any of those agreements, then you're already defaulting. If you really want them to take it, that means you have to be abiding on that. And most of the movies that go to cinemas have opportunity in Netflix. Netflix may say the movie in cinema and call you as a producer. We want this movie. Or you, as a producer or owner of the movie, may also need to take the movie to Netflix by yourself. They will still access it and check if that is what they want. And here now, I hear Netflix also is beginning to give money to some producers to do project for them. Are you getting me? So if you want a movie to get to that standard, that means you must have to be thinking of quality. Some that shoot movies that go to YouTube. Some still have some good quality movies that go to YouTube, but maybe because they don't have the contacts to end up in cinema. Myself, for example, I shot a movie, Just a Wish. I wanted to give that movie to Genesis. I had understanding with them. We discussed and they mentioned their percentage and rest, and even though what they were asking for marketing was so exorbitant. I was shocked because then late Chico Ejiro was with me. Even Mrs. Peace Anyam Osigwe also spoke to Genesis on my film. The movie Chico took to cinema, was it Last Bus to Lagos or something to Lagos? I'm not sure Chico spent up to 2 million on the publicity, which he gave to them to handle. But I was asked to pay 5.something million. Peace Anyam Osigwe of blessed memory called Genesis and told them that this guy's movie is good. I've watched the movie, Just a Wish. See. They continued dribbling me. I ended the movie up in African Magic. I gave it African Magic. Margaret collected it, and I left for Dubai. That was when I was going for my heart surgery. I left for Dubai. And there in Dubai, African Magic was calling me. I had good understanding with them, and the movie was in the showcase, and I was happy. So most times you may have a good project that is cinema quality, but because of one politics or the other, you may not be able to end up there. Because of one contact you do not have, you may not have the space to show your film. That doesn't mean your movie is not good. So not all the movies you see in YouTube are low quality movie. Some may end up in YouTube because they don't want to speak too much grammar. They will do it and just put it there, sell their movie and make their money back. That's it.
All right. I mean, if I don't want to be an actor in Nollywood, but I want to invest in Nollywood, what are the areas that you think at the moment that an investor can come in without being an actor?
The amount you have to invest determines the area you can come in. Now, a lot of people are building hotels, building apartments for film actors in Enugu, Asaba, already was existing in Lagos. Okay, apartments where you just come in, you pay, you lodge, and you shoot for the day and you go. Not a hotel. You know, have rooms, have different settings. You can set your props the way you want it and then stop. That one gives money too. So if you have that large money and you say you want to create a film village, of course that would take a lot of capital. But if you know you have that, then you begin to think of the environment where you would have to set it. And then if it's also affordable, producers will also pay you to come and make use of your venue. Some may want to invest in transportation because most of the movies you see, there is transportation that move actors from one location to the other. You may decide to get buses and other vehicles that can move artists around, get your drivers and then put it there. Some may decide to invest in the movie itself if you have a good producer that can make good stories and then make sure your money does not sink anywhere. You can decide to get equipment. People will come to rent your equipment to shoot. You can decide to open up a studio. People will come, use your studio for editing, and then pay you for each section they use. So in so many ways, you may decide to run an outfit section where costumiers will be coming to collect materials, clothes, and all that and stuff, for the movie. So there are so many ways people can invest in the industry. It depends on one, where you are, how much you have to invest, and then how informed you are, so you don't make a wrong decision.
What's one financial mistake that Nollywood practitioner used to make in Nollywood?
Not investing. A lot of actors, you see them today, they live flamboyant life. A lot of them live above their limit. Some live fake life just to impress people. Some live beyond what they can afford. A lot of them that claim to own houses are living in rented apartments. Some can go as far as renting vehicles to pretend they are the owners of the vehicles. If you don't tell yourself the truth, nobody will tell you the truth. That is why sometimes when after blowing all these hot, the person falls sick, the whole people will now be asked, oh, nobody this person will show saying get money. Why are we contributing money for him? Some of them are not as big as you see them. They are not as big as you make them, as they make you to believe. They don't invest. If you're in Nollywood and you're making money, you should be able to think of investing your money so that you can turn it over and still continue with your business. Sometimes one thing might happen. As an actor, you might have an accident, God forbid, you lose one of your eyes. No producer will call you to give your one-eyed man a particular role to play. No. There are things you do, you prepare yourself for tomorrow. But just like I told you, a lot of them live fake lives. There are a lot of them that are also rich, that exhibit what they have. But some, because I want to belong. You understand? So
yeah,
they call it showbiz. So they're doing the show for the business. Just like you rightly asked, when someone lives a flamboyant life and comes to social media and make you believe that he has everything, and suddenly falls sick or something happens and begin to ask for donation, you yourself, before you give assistance, you ask yourself question. Not be this guy where they show me saying get everything with this. Are you getting what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
Humility goes a long way. Humble yourself, even if you are the richest. Some are richer than others, and those others that are richer, you will not know. You will see them do things they're supposed to do, see them live their normal life. But some will come out to make you understand that, we have it all. That is it. Some might be sick and sincerely, they may not have enough to take care of themselves. And they may not have misused opportunity or what they had in the past. Just that circumstances had made it that they cannot be able to handle what they are facing at the moment. It's still not wrong to help one another in time of need.
What's the difference between Nollywood yeah, the film or the movie practitioner and the comedian in Nigeria? Because we see the comedian now, they are also springing up. And why is it that the comedy of the thing is so popular now in Nigeria, somehow even than in Nollywood?
When you look at the things that is going on in this country, many people are surviving today because they had one reason to laugh. The laughter the comedians bring to the faces of the people is helping to sustain living to a large extent. Sell pure water 15 naira today, comedian go use and make story. We will still be buying it tomorrow and we'll laugh over it. That is why a Nigerian is hardened anywhere you see him or her. That is where a Nigerian can live in any part of the country. Some don't understand. We have this spirit of survivor. Many people who would want to sit down and watch some drama at home, many would want to take their time to listen and watch comedy. That's why each time they have a comedy show, you have a lot of crowds. They make a lot of money on stage because you want to go and laugh. Any moment you've designed to laugh has added something to your soul. I don't want to wish us bad, but then let us hope it gets better. But we don't see it getting better. So in this phase, comedians are becoming important because you need to watch. Me personally on my own, I scroll through comic reliefs in my phone just for me to laugh. I may have one thing or the other bothering my mind. I need comedy to play along. You understand? Now, comedy and Nollywood, those two, they're intertwined because it's entertainment. A lot of them who are doing the stand-up comedy and all those ones are also movie actors in one film or the other. So many a times, so many of them got their platform through the industry and then established themselves as an independent comedian. Some never had anything to do with Nollywood. They sprang up on their own and they are doing well. And then a film producer will see them and notice the person have a skill. A film producer will still want to invite him and pay him to act in his movie. So both work together. Just like I told you, people want to laugh. People want to forget the problem of the country. That is why comedy is taking space.
Now, there's this message that just popped in now from one of our viewers. She said, you see Nollywood actress and you see Nollywood actor. The actor, right, might have started earlier before the actress. But within a few years, you see the actress, she will have a fantastic house somewhere in Lekki. She'll be riding a Range Rover car. While the actor, that is the guy himself, that started before him and that has a lot of movies, stable on his name. No house, nothing. What's going on there?
I only have one response to this. In Lagos, you have different ways. If you're living in Surulere and you want to go to Alaba, there are different routes you can take to get to Alaba. Alaba is destination, but I'm coming through a different route. You are coming through a different route. It depends on the route an actor chooses. It's not only from the film. Most of them you see make their money. I don't want to go into details. But don't see yourself competing with anybody. That is when you have a problem. Some of them are living a life of competition. That is why most may end up thinking of going diabolic just for me to be ahead of this person. There was a time the trend in the industry among the girls was like, who go marry Oyibo, who go marry the richest guy. A lot, who go get the best contact, who will date the biggest man in the country. So it depends. I don't want to go there. But then a life of competition will always lead you to doom. If you know what you want, just go for it. You're doing well, you're striving, you're struggling. Keep that lane if you want to keep your hand clean. But if you want to join the other person that is speeding so high, then go knock at the person's door and beg the person to carry you behind as a passenger. And then you move along. Simple.
Wow. Okay. How are Nollywood movies influencing younger generations in Nigeria?
Well, because Nollywood movie, believe it or not, tell our story. Tell our story. Those days when I was writing, many a times, one, we have fictitious stories, but I'm one person that was always bringing in true life situations in my story.
Yeah.
If you are 20 in a room watching a Funke movie, you will hear one or two persons say, "Oh, I know someone who had experienced something like this." I bring reality to my stories. That was one part of me. Now, a lot of them Nigerians are being influenced by what they see in the movie because they watch it and we all live here. When we started doing occultic story, I was among the first people to do occultic story. Billionaires Club was among the story that gave the way. I later shot Abuja Boys. I did a lot of occultic story, circuit cult stories. A lot of people were like, some started watching me closely to know the cult Afam belongs to. The first cult story. Who? Okay, like Zubi Michael today. That was a movie I shot for Get Rich. Why are all the people I'm mentioning here lately people? Get Rich also don't die. You know, that was a movie I shot with Mike Zuronye, Iniedo, and all of them. The Generals. That was the first campus call story Zubi was in. That story was a blast. And when I was done with that movie, you can still go to Google, just type The General. A lot of people were like calling me, trying to know a particular cult where I belong. But this is just about bringing in reality to the table. Most of the stories are stories people who had experienced gave to me. Some at a point were begging me to please work on their story. Some are willing to give you their true life experience to develop. You understand? So most of the stories they watch are reality. And many a times, they influence them as people who are addicted to some of those stories. That's why I encourage my colleagues to please, let us begin to do some decent projects, decent movies that can impact positively on the masses. There was a time the game was changing when Nigerian movie was almost trying to begin to go because Ghanaians started eating it up.
Yeah.
I was among the very first people that started bringing Ghanaians to shoot in Nigeria. Sonny Collins, one of the marketers, one of the producers that started bringing in artists from the beginning. People like, again, late Kwame Owuse Ansah. Why all of them don't die? Kwame Owuse Ansah was a renowned broadcaster in Ghana. He was among the first Ghanaians that came to shoot movie in Nigeria. Kwame Owuse Ansah, Calcium, I can't remember most of them. At some point, producers in Nigeria started relating very well to some of them in Ghana. Miracle Films and Sonny Collins were very close. Miracles too, they shoot good films. At some point, Ghanaians come take the thing to a different level, begin to do all those so Nigerians come begin to say, oh, Ghanaian film they sell because they were exhibiting all those stuff and bam, all our movies was almost turned into. But I'm glad eventually it was called to order because then Census Board was working too. When you finish your project, you go to Census Board for approval. Census Board eventually started removing most of those scenes in the movie. Now, I don't know whether most of those movies go to Census Board now because some of them will end up in the YouTube. Census Board will not see.
Yeah.
Those that are going to the cinema also need to meet cinema standards. Census Board may not have access to them. So I don't know how much Census Board is affecting the industry now.
Okay.
So that is
now let's talk about Japa. Do you think this Japa of the thing, do you think is affecting Nollywood? Why do I say this? If you check Canada now, we've got a lot of Nollywood actors and actresses. They've Japa to Canada. Do you think this thing will affect Nollywood?
Just know that nobody is indispensable. With or without anybody, the industry go on.
Will go on.
Are you getting me? I'm in UK. Another person is in a different country. The industry is moving on. You understand? When you think without you, nothing will move on. You know, you lie.
I know,
Because even
but
as
there are
you are
still,
working,
but there are, you know, some of your fans that they still want to see you in that arena, in that area, in
definitely,
that field.
definitely, but know it that whoever takes the decision to make a move has a reason.
Okay.
Are you getting me? And
Yeah.
it's all about me first. Me first.
Mm.
Okay, this was everywhere in the social media, is not new, is no secret. I was once a victim of kidnapping in Nigeria. It was all over the internet.
Yeah,
Go to
I
internet,
remember.
Google Afamokere gets kidnapped. You will
Yeah,
read my story.
I saw
And
it.
I was requested to pay 10 million for ransom. Not just doing that. At the end of the whole day, you still discover that you are not safe. I was traumatized. A lot happened. So many things motivated my movement to UK. I've not relocated finally. I know I have just some time here. I'm getting back very soon. And I've not left the industry. I'm keeping up what I'm doing. I have other things that I do now to keep myself busy, and I never left the industry. That is one passion I have. I know I will die with. A lot of them in Canada might be there now, but I know they're still getting back. Even if they decide to stay there for a while or some time, that's still part of the industry. They've not left the industry. You could see most times some film producers will have something to do in Canada. They'll oh, Henry, where are you? I'm in Canada. I would like you to be in my film. Bam, the person will still be in your film and all that. We are still in the business. But everybody here is just that. How would I put it now? Me first. How safe am I?
Not about the
Am I
industry,
happy
it's
doing
me
what I'm
first.
doing?
Yeah.
Me first before the industry. Okay. But then they moved out of the country doesn't make them not being part of the industry anymore. Like here now, we're beginning to build community around here. Some time ago, Oni Michael came to UK. It was my camera he used to shoot a movie. I have a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, who's also a director of photography. He works here in UK as well. He's a cinematographer. He took my camera. He went to shoot for Oni. So we're still in the business and we're still relating. So if I have any of my colleagues who visits UK and thinks, oh, Afam is here, let him do one or two things for me, I'm also willing to support. Then when I'm done with whatever I'm doing here, back in the country, I'll still pick up from where I left them. So that is it.
Because I remember that back then, yeah, that you invested heavily in equipment in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I mean, all these equipment, are they still there in Nigeria? Do you still run it, or I mean, or you brought them to UK?
No, my studio definitely is there, but there are few handy equipment I needed to move with. Okay, those are the ones I came with here. And definitely by the time I'm done here coming back, I will also need to update with whatever is in vogue. That kind of a thing. Because I will not come back and shoot with the last camera I worked with. No. There are advanced systems I'm going to work with, technicalities, keep improving advancement and the rest of them. So but the studio is there just to show you that yes, this is one thing I know I have, and then it remains with me. It's not in a rented apartment, it's my own property, so I don't owe anybody anything. So that is it.
But why is Nollywood movie so popular internationally now?
Apart from the quality, we tell our story. Okay, we have different religions, different tribes here in Nigeria. We have different stories to tell, and people are also telling their story in their different ways. So we have so much to offer. That is why people are beginning to yearn to watch most of the movies from Nigeria. Like when you watch now, before, Nigerian musicians were not as popular as they are today. But I don't know any country in Africa you mention right now that will tell you that they have better singers than Nigeria. You understand? Apart from knowing the craft, they also advertise what they do. They will push it from one point to the other. So we have good stories people would want to learn. We have cultures people would want to know about. There are so many things that happen. I wish people would still go back and begin to do traditional stories. There are some traditional stories you watch anyway that are fiction. Not every traditional story you see applies to a particular culture here. But people have different ways of interpreting whatever story they want to exhibit. Okay, so the competition as well in the industry is also helping it grow to that extent.
Is there any way, yeah, that you guys can have access to those classical movies like Living in Bondage and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're all there. They're all there. Like if you check African Magic and some other channels, they begin to show classic films because people will also tell you categorically that those days were actually the days of originality. Those are the days people told the stories the way they are. They were all raw, fresh, and pure. Most of the stories you see today are products of the movies I'd watched before. Only very few people would take time to create something interesting, something nice. And you see, a lot of producers are also beginning to buy the rights of the old movies to do a review on the film. Okay, like Living in Bondage had another review, which Ramsey Noah did. And then so many other movies, Nek Capri Sapet and the rest of them, because they had good stories. Sometimes you need to use their names to also sell the new one and then try to add to the story. Those stories are there. If you go to African Magic, I think they created a channel for classic. And they're out there in the archives. Even though a lot of them sold their rights to different marketers then, and some people who started YouTube business online earlier bought up most of those rights from the owners, which I know they are regretting to. You understand? But they still have them.
Okay. Let's talk about titles, Nigerian movies titles, because I discovered that there are some titles, like you said, who in the olden days those titles, they are titles that they are really top there. But I've seen it like it's like they recycle it, but it's not the same storyline, it's not the same cast, but then they now use that same title. Like for example, Blood Sister now. Blood Sister, yeah, we all know that classic Blood Sister with Genevieve Naji and the Omotola.
And the Omotola, yeah.
Yeah. But this Blood Sister again, it exists in Nigeria as well now. I think with Ebony Life or something like that.
Yeah, I know the story, yeah.
Yeah. So, but this Blood Sister of a thing, the title, who owns the right? Or is it a free for all?
Well, I don't know how they go about that. I don't know about how they go about the title, but I know that when you want to do a sequel of a particular classic story, you need to get it right from the owner. I don't know if that right is also extended to title. I'm not aware of that, But then I'm aware that sometimes when you've done when you've done some projects and you want to upload in YouTube or whatever, sometimes the title might clash. And then at some point, you will make a sign, they'll tell you, oh, this one is already existing or something like that. So, but then, just like you said, people want to use those titles to sell the present stories. I don't know if the owner of the original title has any right. But then, if you have your product registered with Copyright Commission, I know you can fight it. But our producers, our film people were not exposed to all those extent. Once you have a good story, bam, you're hitting the location. Some don't know how to protect their intellectual property. If your property is actually protected, you can contest for your rights. Okay, so both the title and the content should be inclusive, but I don't know whether it's obtainable. Anyway.
I mean, like you said, is it not the right time that we should have something like a database where probably maybe any movies that is released in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, but from the Nollywood spray, that those titles should be kept in the database in case anybody wants to use it. At least when you put it in there, you will see it in the database, probably through the censor board as well in Nigeria.
But definitely, when you go to for those that would want to search, when you go to YouTube, are you getting me? When you go to YouTube, when you type, it will obviously pop up. Those days, sometimes when I want to choose the title, I would want to just go to and know if any title line is existing. Those that are using those titles will not tell you they don't know they knew the title existed, but they want to make use of it. They're not using it out of ignorance. No, they know. That's what I'm telling you, that if the owner of that title had a copyright protection, then I can stand up tomorrow and tell you, hey, guy, you used my title without my consent. I'm suing for this. And I will rip I will rip a hole whooping amount of money I would want to get from you. Then the rest will learn. But I don't know whether it's applicable. I don't know how they go about that.
In Nigeria, some parents, when they hear that their son wants to marry an actress, they always frown against it. How do we, right, sanitize or educate this type of parents?
Basically, I would want to first of all state categorically here that most of the life you see people exhibit in the movie is not their personal life. If I have a story, as a director, I would want you to interpret it for me the way I have it. Your name is Ifeoma, and the character I want you to play is Nkechi. I need to let you know who Nkechi is. You keep everything about Ifeoma aside. I will tell you the story. That's how I do. Before I start my film project, I let my artists understand the characters they are playing. Not you. Keep yourself aside. You might be a born again, but in my story, Nkechi might be. This is what I want you to play. And as an actor, this artist is obliged to give me the best of her to be able to project this story. That doesn't make her. That is one thing people don't understand. Just like those days, some people sometimes they want to they say purchase up because they see she acts wicked roles or wicked mother-in-law and the rest of them. But she's a born again. She's a nice woman. You don't judge people by the roles they play in the movie. That is one mentality Nigerians have, and is affecting everything we do. That a girl is an artist is not a reason why somebody would tell the son not to marry this girl because she's an actor. No way.
All right.
If you study the person's life and understand the person's life represents what she is exhibiting in the movie, run. But if you're able to take that time to study the person you want to marry and discover that this is a different person from whatever role or character you see her displaying in the movie, please discuss your future. That's what I have to say.
Okay. Now, what financial tip will you give someone that wants to start shooting in Nollywood? Probably maybe his or her first film. What kind of financial tip will you give that person?
If you just get a script and shoot, you will sink because you will not know your direction, you will not know your left from the right. You need to consult people who are in the industry, stakeholders. You must mix up. If you have interest to shoot a movie, first of all, start by visiting a movie location. Before you put your money down, move around, go around, watch how it is done. They may not even know who you are, what you're coming around to do. You're sacking one or two persons. Go to where film people gather. If now is not the period of a CD anymore, otherwise, you will still take your time, go to that market where they sell that movie. Have a chat with them. Know how the movies are being sold. Know how the movies are being marketed. Before you don't give your clothes to a carpenter, you give your clothes to a tailor. Before you even think of doing that, you must have an access to somebody that is so reliable in the industry. From talking to people, your mind will direct you to somebody who will feel, oh, I can deal with this person. Somebody you think that can tell you the truth. Some made their first attempt and hit the rock. It mustn't be that 100% okay. But then as you're hitting that rock, you're also learning a lesson. Subsequently, if you're steady, it will come a time when you will tell your story. Oh, when I started, this was the experience I had. But today, look at where I am. So you don't just pick up a story and start shooting. No, you must understand everything about the story. How do you determine a good story? Make sure the story is okay. You must have a script conference. Make sure the story, every good movie begins with a story. When that story is okay, who do you think can interpret this story very well for you? Who do you think will bring in the professional technical application needed to give this project a boost? You begin to think of your team, those that can work with you. You don't just pick up your script. You say, okay, you call one person for because you know you heard of the person's name before. Call, then gather people and begin to shoot. No. You just keep your one on the table, they'll scatter it and you go empty-handed. So if you make proper inquiry, get proper guidance, and use the right people to shoot your film. Film still sell to tomorrow. Some say movie, no, they sell. Movie, they sell. Movie, they sell. Even the ones on YouTube are selling very well. You understand? So anybody who wish to invest in the industry will say, come in, just get something of good quality. People love, if you go to a restaurant, go to restaurants to eat good food, not mind the amount of money they pay. All they want to taste is good food. Once you cook good food, people go eat them. So the industry is growing, it's not dying. Some say, oh, Nollywood is dying. No, 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 I don't believe that. When I'm ready to come back and hit a movie with some knowledge I've acquired so far, people will also be shocked at the improvement they're going to see in my work as well.
Can you please share an inspiring story of someone who went from earning little to making it big in Nollywood?
In one movie or the other, playing one small role and getting to bigger role than the rest of them. And today, they are giants of the industry. Funke Akindele as a person is one person I want to use as an example. Funke had a humble beginning. I've shot a lot of movies with her. But the time, there was also a period we had problems in Nollywood, and I had to shoot a Yoruba movie. That was one of our Igbo movies then, Odeshi. Me and Sonny Collins, we had to convert it to be a Yoruba story. We went to shoot in Oshobo. Funke was there. So many. This an artist I will tell you wholeheartedly that had a humble beginning. Today, she is a giant in the industry. Ruth Kadiri. I don't know whether you watch her movies. Yeah. Started with us from the scratch. Those days, I worked with her on different sets, Simone Production and a lot of them and the rest of them. Today, she's a giant in the industry. Henry Black, all you need is consistency, determination. From the beginning, you tell yourself, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I love to do, this is what I would want to achieve. And when you're focused, when you have a direction, God on your side, you will definitely succeed. Are you getting me? That is that. Some will tell you, oh, why am I even wasting my time doing this? Except you don't love what you're doing. If you love what you're doing, if that thing you are doing is created out of passion, then not the end of tunnel. At the beginning of that tunnel, you go begin to see the light. No, you don't need to reach the end. Yeah, the light is there. Okay, so there are so many of that. I don't want to just go ahead and call it again and again and again. But then there are people who had very, very small, little, humble beginning, and today they are giants in the industry. They are doing very well.
Like this new Funke Akindele, the new movie now that is out.
Yeah,
now.
Everyone loves Jenifa.
Wow. They force the razzmatazz around it, the publicity and everywhere. It's really, it's on the lip of nearly most movie lover right now as we speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Rules.
Okay, rules.
Yeah, for making money in Nollywood.
Number one.
Okay.
Number one. You must know what you want. Number two, invest properly. Number three, avoid sentiment. Because when you share sentiments, you may end up working with even the wrong cast. And at the end of the whole day, your project will just sink. You have to be focused. If you're focused in this business, that will give you the reason to expand your coast. Have opportunity of also meeting some major stakeholders in the business that can also give you a landing platform to achieve your best. And then stay out of gossip. Out of gossip, I mean, because many of the times people rub in things that are not necessary in this business of entertainment. And when you allow it, and when you float on them, you also sink. Be yourself and make sure that drive you have for passion takes over in the business. Otherwise, leave it, run. If you don't have passion for it, leave it, run. When you have your capital you want to invest, make proper inquiry, make proper consultation, use the right people. It's a teamwork. When you work with the wrong team, you can never succeed. And when you begin to push it and you see that what you're doing is actually yielding, no carry your shoulder, go high. Those people where you begin with, recognize them and still build more. You see some actors, when they begin with you, you enjoy the humility. At some point, they will overgrow. Somebody who was pleading with you, somebody you had given that opportunity to come to the point where go use money pursue, even when you that is inviting him to come work for you don't have enough money anymore. They'll forget the past. Most times as well, the producers who begged you as an actor to please come and play this character for me, I have just little to offer you. That producer will make it very big and you will still forget that actor that helped you when you were starting. So it's all about keeping your hands straight, doing the right thing, and then adding professional touch to it. You succeed.
On this note, I would like to say a very thank you, Mr. Honorable Afam Akindele. Even though as regards to that honorable of the thing, I still want to take you on, but because of our time, and I'm sure you have one or two things to do as well, so I wouldn't want to take your time on it. Next time, it's going to be about you and being an honorable in Nigeria. We're going to dip straight and dive into that as well, because it's like, we've seen some actors and actresses now that they are going into politics in Nigeria as well. So this is going to be another segment, and hopefully we would really like to invite you some other time to come and share your experience and balance it up within you being a politician and being a movie producer as well, or a movie practitioner. So thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Do you have one or two things you want to say to your fans, or what should we expect from you in the future or very soon, or do you have something that you still keep a little bit like this that you want your fans to know about?
For now, and I still want to keep it on the wrap. I don't want to discuss it for now. But when I'm ready, you will be the first to know. Okay? But then, just like I said, we are coming back. We've not left the industry. The industry we built out of passion. The industry we still hold heart. Just like me, I can't breathe without the industry. You are calling me honorable, mentioning the honorable stuff and the rest of them. Without the industry, I wouldn't have earned that. Because the Enugu State government, before I got my first appointment as a media advisor to the governor then, Sullivan Chime, it was from Nollywood. Okay. Then from there, I had to contest for election, a highly contested election that had to win me a local government council. If I never had that background and influence from Nollywood, I wouldn't have had that strength and potential to pull through. Okay, so the industry is like my first love, and I'm not leaving it behind.
Please and please, we beg you now. When I subscribe, you don't say we never many, more at least more reach 1,000 sharp before the end of this year. Please share it and tell your family and friends for them to subscribe to that channel. I want us to climb 1,000 before the end of this year. Yeah. God bless you guys. I appreciate you guys for joining us. Thanks a lot. I'll see you on Monday again, where we'll be bringing another guest down to our studio. Till I'll see you now later. I say, see you.